All right, good morning. This is supposed to be a Math 7 review. So this will be, I would say, mandatory for everyone to know 100% to the every last question, every question type, because without these basic skills, you cannot find yourself in the big challenge, not only for Math 8, for Math 9, 10, whatever you take math, right? You're gonna always find it hard if you don't have the skills for sure. So this is our Math 7 review. We're gonna spend 1 hour only on this as our A, so one part of our Unit 2. It's gonna be part of Unit 2 test as well, all right? So if you know your math, your grade 7 math, you're gonna find this easy. However, there's nothing wrong going and reviewing the concept. Okay, so what do we need to know? This is the basic. Okay, you got your multiplication table. You need to know by heart by somewhere halfway through Math A if you don't yet. What is the number on this table? If you multiply any number in between like 1 and 9, what is it gonna be? If you need to rely on multiplication table for now, it's okay though. You can use it on tests and quizzes. Notice that this number that is going diagonal, do you notice what they are? We've seen them, right? They're perfect squares. Okay, if you multiply same number together, if you times 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3 and so on, the result is in the multiplication table. That's your perfect squares, right? It helps you with radical. It's gonna help you with a lot of things as well. In the bottom, this is easy, right? You start to learn this maybe from kindergarten. What are two numbers that multiply to 10? 1 and 9, 2 and 8, 3 and 7, 4 and 6. You're gonna know this by heart as well, because this come handy when you do long division. Right? You're gonna know this. If you take 10 and minus any single digit number, what is the other part? You know, it is the same, right? Minus 1 get 9, minus 2 get 8, minus 3 get 7, minus 7 get 3, minus 4 get 6. You're going to have this, right? So, long story short, let me put that aside and try to get some questions in. If you have 3 times 9, this is one of the questions. Of course, you can know this by heart, and you know, Mr. Chen, this is so easy, it's 27, right? You can just look this up if you don't know by heart yet. However, if I say, hey, what is negative 3 times 9? What is negative 3 times 9? Well, the answer is 27 as well, but that negative 1, it's going to make the answer negative 27, right? Reason why is because this negative, I can rewrite this negative 3 as negative 1 times 3 times 9, right? So the result would be negative 1 times 27. What's negative 1 times 27? Whenever you times negative 1 to a number, if that's 0, that's 27. And if you take 27 times negative 1, you're going to get negative 27. It's going to be on the other side. Okay? That would be the result of times negative 1. If you times negative 1 to negative 27 again, times negative 1, you're going to again get its split version. All right? Get its evil twin, right? Whenever you times minus 1, you're going to get the other version. So no matter how many times 1s you get, you're going to be flipping in between the two. Right? So if you were to take 27 times negative 1 times negative 1, notice that whenever you multiply two numbers, you can omit the multiplication sign in between. Sometimes that number will get omitted if it's in a bracket, right? You don't have to write the multiplication sign again. What's the result in here? Do you know? Brayden? 27 times negative 1 3 times. So it'll be going over 1, 2, 3. Be negative 27. All right, so if you don't know this yet, make sure you know. Okay. Another way to look at this, if you have odd number of negatives, then it's gonna stay negative. If you have even number of negatives, then it's gonna stay whatever. It's gonna stay positive. All right. So again, if you don't know this by heart yet, if you don't know the principle, make sure you do. All right. So why do we need to know the multiplication table to start with? Because everything hinges on top of each other. By knowing the multiplication table, this allows you to multiply one digit. It's one digit on the top, one digit on the left. Okay? Once you know this by heart, you don't need to really understand them. You just have to remember them. Once you and you don't have to go to the two digit. You don't have to go to like 10, 11, 12, 13. Don't worry about them. Just one digit times one digit, that's all you need. Okay, moving up. 125 times 24. Right? So what should we do with this? This is basically doing multiplication table 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 6 times, and then add the result together. That's all that is to it. So if you don't know the technique yet, watch over here. I'm gonna do it in two different ways. One is the expanded way and one is the condensed way. Okay, you can do either, doesn't matter. All you need is a piece of paper next to it so you can expand your work. All right, 4 times 5 gives, okay, so I'm gonna take this 4, multiply by each number on the top. The result is gonna be written down below. Okay, 4 times 5 gives me what? 20. 4 times 2 give me 8. Now this 8 is gonna be written next line and 1 over. So next line 1 over is gonna go there. All right. 4 times 2 give me 8. 4 times 1 give me 1 again. Next line 1 over. It's gonna be 4. Right. So this is the result of 3 multiplications. I just write them on each individual line. Good. So that's the result of 125 times 4. If I were to add them together, it gives me 500. All right. Now, if I were to take 2, now it's the 2's turn. I'm just going to multiply by 5, by 2, and by 1. It's going to return underneath this 2. Right? For this 2 times 5, for the next result, it's going to go down and 1 over. Down and 1 over. All right. So again, I'm recording this video. If you don't know the technique yet, go home and review them. Okay, you gotta make sure you know this by heart. 2 times 5 give me 10. So right underneath 2, 10. 2 times 2 is 4, down and 1 over. 4. 2 times 1 is 1, down and 1 over. 1. Right. So again, this is the result of the 2 times 5 and 2 and 1. And then all you have to do is add the number downwards. Now, when you are writing this, make sure they line up, right? A column, a column, a column. If your handwriting is not neat enough, you will not be able to do this. So you add this down, that's a 0. You add this down, that's a 10, right? 2 plus 8, that's a 10. So you're gonna write a little 1 here. So 1, 4, 1, 4, we got 5 and 5, so 10 again. Oh, sorry, this 2 times 1 is 2. Why did I write 1? There we go. 2 times 1 is 2, and then this add to 10, and the result is 3,000. Okay, so 250 would be the result of this 2 times 125. There we go. Okay, so this is the mechanic of multiplying 3 numbers with 2 numbers. You can swap, you know, the numbers with whatever. Okay, this technique will still work. Let me show you a second way of doing this. Still review, correct? Still review, but hopefully a good reminder for those who don't do math every day, right? Who have a summertime or first semester doing something else. I'm gonna do this question again. Okay, but in this case, I'm gonna condense each pair of 3 to just one row. I'll show you how to do it. You're gonna use your finger as a memory bank. Okay, so again, if you're not focused on here, right, be sure to redirect your focus. Again, I'm gonna do the same thing here. 4 times 5 times 2 times 1. I'm gonna write it right underneath here. 4 times 5 give me 20. I'm not gonna write the 2. I'm not gonna write this 2. I'm gonna keep those 2 in my finger, like this. 2 in my finger. All right. 4 times 2 give me what? 8. Right. I'm gonna add this 2 to 8. 9, 10. Okay. 10. So I'm gonna write 0, and that 10 it's 1/10. So I'm gonna keep the 1 in my finger now. Okay. I'm gonna keep this one basically in my finger. 2 times 1. Sorry. Right here. Okay, so I got 4 times 5, 4 times 2, 4 times 1 is 4. I'm gonna add it. Add this finger, 5. Notice that 500 is equivalent to, if I were to add those 3 numbers. Okay, that's gonna be 0, 10, 500. You see that? Okay, and then I'm gonna go to take this 2 and times this 5 and 2 and 1. And this is gonna go this spot, okay? It's gonna go directly under, okay? So this 4, the result go directly under. The result for this 2 go directly under. 2 times 5 give me 10. I'm not gonna write that one. I'm gonna keep it in my finger. 2 times 2 is 4 plus this finger 5. And I don't have anything in storage, so next number is just gonna go there. 2 times 1 is 2, okay? And this 250 is the result of adding those. You see, you got 2, 5, and 0. See that? Okay. But each of this group is now aligned. There we go. And I can add this downward. 0, 0, 0, 3. The result is the same. Either you want to write it expanded, or you want to use your finger as a storage to write 3 lines as 1. It's up to you. Okay, so again, if you forgot about the technique, be sure to use this. All right. Even if you're multiplying 3 numbers with 3 numbers, the steps should be the same. I mean, the step is the same. If one of the number is negative, saying if it's -1 to 5, then all you have to do is to put the negative here, negative, as a result. If both of these are negative, then you have negative and negative. You will be going to the other side and then back. The result will be positive. Make sense? Okay, so hopefully we have a good review on how to multiply multiple digits, right? 3 against 2, 3 against 3. If one of it is negative, you know what to do. Right, so that's your first page. Let's go to your second page. Again, if you want to write it down as I go, feel free to do that. But yeah, it's important to know the principle. All right, page 2. If you have 27 divided by 9, what is the result? Well, this is same as asking, you know, what is 9 times 2 will give you 27. Okay, it is equivalent of that. And if the result here is 3, the result here is 3. Or how many 9s can you take out from a 27? You can take 3 9s from 27, and therefore the answer is 3. If any of this, let me reword this again. You see this division sign? Looks like this. Yeah? Division is actually equivalent of fraction, right? So instead of writing 27 divided by 9, I can also say 27 over 9, and these are equivalent. You got to know this. If your math teacher didn't push this concept through, make sure you know it by now. And this will also be, this will simplify to 3 over 1, and this will be 3. All right? So the answer would be identical. If you have negatives in here. So if you have, say, negative 63 divided by negative 9, for instance, this would be equivalent of negative 63 over negative 9. And we are multiplying or dividing, it doesn't matter, right? It is same as if you have two negative numbers, the resulting is going to be positive. And here we are looking into how many 9s we can take out of 63. And if you don't know your multiplication by heart, 63 over here and 9, it's 9 and 7. So 9 times 7, 63. 63 divided by 9 gives you 7. All good. So the tricky part maybe for you is the multiplication table, or it's maybe the signs here that you have to make sure you know. If you have a fraction, say negative 45, this is one of the questions, divide by 4, then what you do is figure out that part and then you figure out this part. This would be negative a divided by 4. A divided by 4 gives you 2. You have one negative sign, put that negative sign here. Okay, if you have odd number of negative signs, your resulting answer would be a negative. If you have even number of negative signs, your answer would be a positive. All right, moving on to page 3. Did I ask you to do long divisions? Oh my goodness, I should have asked you to do long divisions. Okay. Okay, let's do a review of long division. It's not in here, but it should be. Long division. Saying if I have, I don't know, 3, 2, 1, 0, divide by, let's do 1 digits first. Divide by 9. How's that? Okay. Long division wise, let's go over the technique. I know for some of you, you have started to learn this from young age, but the technique is important and sometimes we forget about them. 3, 2, 1, 0, divide by 9. So this number is 1 digit and therefore we're going to compare to 1 digit here. If this number is smaller, then you have to use 2 of the digit, okay? So 3 is less than 9, that wouldn't go. If in this case, we're going to use 32 instead. If we're going to use 32, I'm going to put this number right here. So 9 times whatever is going to give you close to 32, but not over 32, all right? So if you need to use your multiplication tables, so be it. So if you go down this row, 32, so 27 would be the highest number without going over, okay? And that number is 3. So 9 times 3, 27. 9 times 3 equal to 27. Then all you have to do is minus down. Hey, pretty good, how are you? So minusing down 32 from 27, that's 5 steps. So you got 5, okay? And then we're gonna put 9 here on the second number on this spot to figure out what's the number, how many 9s we can fit into a 51 without going over. Again, if you are relying on your multiplication table, you go down this way. 9, and then you need to find a number as high as possible without going over 51. That number is 45, and it's 5 times. So you can go 5 times 45. And then minus those numbers down. Again, how many steps are we from 45 to 51? It's going to be 6 steps. 6. And then we'll bring that 0 down. And lastly, how many 9s can we fit in 60? How many 9s we can fit into 60 without going over? The number is 6. And it's going to get you 54. 6. 54. Again, you should know the multiplication table by heart at this moment, so you can do this. And you got 6 left, right? So that's pretty much the end of it. In elementary school, your teacher probably asked you to do this, right? You're gonna say R is 6 in here, right? Is that what you did? as the answer. However, yes, but that R6, it's the remainder 6 is not the same if you are dividing into 9 or dividing into 5 or dividing into 2. That R6 means what? You're going to write this answer as follows. You're going to say 356. The remaining, that 6 is actually a fraction of 9. That would be how you would write it to be mathematically correct. If you just say R6, if you're simply saying, 356, oopsie. If you're simply saying 356 R6, you don't really know what the R6 is from. You don't know it's divided by 9. Okay? So to be proper, please do this. Okay? And of course, you can simplify this to what? 2 over 3. Okay? Which we'll learn more about percentage later on. Right, so on page 3 you have subtractions and additions of 2-digit number, 3-digit number. This will be interesting. I'll do an example on this. All right, again, review from grade 7. Oh, I wrote down the wrong question. All right, so make sure you write down the question correctly. This is also one of the big chances where you can get something wrong, where you clearly know how to do. And that's why it's important to show your work, because even if your answer is incorrect, but if from your work I can see that I actually understand what you're doing, you'll get partial mark. Okay? What do we do here? Okay, so we are minusing 88 from 360. We are paying something that is worth $88 with our pocket money 360. Of course we have enough to pay, but what would be the answer for this? Okay, so that column tells us how many $1 we have. So I have 0 $1, but I have to pay for the $8. I don't have enough $1 to pay, but I could take one of this $10. I have 6 $10. I'm going to take one of those $10 over to pay for this $8, right? So now I have 5 of the $10 and 10 $1. I can take $10, pay for the $8, and I have 2 of the $1 left. I have $50 to pay for the $80. Clearly not enough, but I have 3 of $100, and therefore I'm going to take 1 of the $100. I have $200 left, and that 100 would turn into 10 tens. So I have $15 $10. 15 tens pay for 8 tens. I have 7 tens. I have $70 left, and that $200 not being used. All right. If I were to ask you on the next question, hey, what is 88 minus 360? Do you know the answer without calculating? Anyone? Anyone know the answer without calculating? Yes. Negative 272. How do you know?
Because you just put the negative side.
72. The rationale behind this is as such. If I were to use another example, if I were to say, oh, what is 5 minus 2? 3. If I were to switch this order, I take 2 minus 5. We can see this is negative 3. Right? From number line, we can see that this is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This gives us 2. The difference is 3. If you're to minus each other, we are taking the difference. 2 minus 5. Of course, you can take 2 and then go down 5 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. Find yourself negative 3 over there as your answer. However, this negative 3 is also in here. The difference is 3, right? This simply means that 5 is 3 larger than 2, and 2 is 3 less than 5, and hence the negative number. The difference is the same. Either you take it one way or the other, the difference is the same. The sign simply tell you which number is larger. Similarly, in here, if you have 88 sitting here and 360 sitting somewhere there, the difference is 272. Doesn't matter which way you take it, right? If you take the larger number minus smaller number, you got positive. If you take the smaller number minus larger number, the difference is still the same. The negative sign here simply tells you that you are taking smaller number minus larger number. You will get a negative version of the difference. Okay, hopefully that explains. Exponents. 7 power 2. Exponent 2 means that we are going to take 2 of this number and multiply together. 7 times 7, again, so you can just use your multiplication table. Give you 49. We're on to our last page, okay? Just a few more examples before I let you go. If you have negative 7 exponent 2, notice the bracket, okay? If you ever have a bracket square, this is what you do. This is what you're going to see. Bracket times bracket. It's like here, 7 times 7. Then you fill the content in. Don't rush, okay? Negative 7 times negative 7, you know it's going to be a 49. These two negative signs is going to equalize each other. You have a pair, right? So it's a positive 49. If you have negative 7 power 2, this is different. This is likened to negative 1 times 7 twice. You don't have 2 of the negative ones. You only have 1 of them. This will be equivalent of negative 1 times 7 times 7. You're going to have 49. You only have 1 of these negative ones. The resultant is going to be negative 49. Okay, so that's as far as exponent goes. If the exponent, in a special case, if the exponent is 0, say negative 3 exponent 0, do you guys know what the answer is? Whatever to exponent 0 is going to be 1. Okay? Even if I put like a random number here, 31275 divided by 450, exponent 0, please don't, you see that that's exponent 0? It's 1 already. Doesn't matter what it is. However, if you have a negative sign in front of it, that would be times the result by negative 1. And therefore, your answer is going to be negative 1. Okay, all good? Are we good with this? All right. The last one is unbent metaphor. Okay, so this is one of the questions. If you have bracket, please resolve the bracket first before you move on. So I have 2 numbers there, 10 divided by 2, that gives me 5, times negative 3 in the front, minus negative 4. What do I do next? What do I do next? Matthew, right? Yes, what do I do next? Not sure? Alright, so in this case, now, do you guys know how many terms do I have in here? Are you familiar with the concept of term? Aaron? 3 terms? Raise your hand if you think we have 3 terms.
Actually, there's like 2.
Raise your hand if you think we have 2 terms. Raise your hand if you don't know exactly. What if you don't raise your hand? I don't know. You didn't hear me? Anyways. Okay, so if I were to multiply everything without adding and subtracting, I have 2 terms. Okay? So what you want to do is simplify each term before you minus in each other, all right? So 3 times 5, 15. I have negative there, so negative 15. Minus the negative 4, sure I can do that. Or I can see this as -1 times -4. I can just write +4. Either or, okay? So if I were to just see this as -1 times -4, I would have a +4. So +4, the result would be -11.